are we here? All right. So let's go ahead and get started. I've already actually done you guys' reading. I hope that you trust that I've already shuffled the cards and prayed over them and, made sure everything was good. But my computer or my phone crashed when I was trying to end it out. So we're going to do this all over again. So it starts off with the dreamer. You guys, I feel as though there's a new era emerging in your life. You're being asked to sort of start over again and become an amateur at something. And whatever this is, I want you to know that it's something that is like a figment of your wildest dreams and imagination. Okay, here we are. An idea that you've always had, maybe a new idea. It's something that might seem even a little childish to you. That's why I said it might be something old, something that you've carried over into this, this new person that you are from your childhood, and you kind of might have pushed it back, and now it's time to finally step forward and allow yourself to really dream and to take that leap of faith, because it's not something that you're going to be sure about at all, not by a long shot. And it even might be, like I said, a brand new idea that sort of just comes in and sweeps you off your feet, and you're like, wait a minute, this is actually a good idea. Like, this might actually work. But at the same time, it's a feeling that you have. You don't necessarily want to share it with people. I also feel for you guys because you have a few cards that indicate here that you're going through a pretty tough space. It's just something that's not as easy to navigate for you. There's some friction in your energy field. So you got this Four of Water. So there's something that you feel like you're missing out on. Like, I feel like it might even be the fact that you're missing out on your dreams, or you might be talking yourself out of your dreams by way of, well, let's say you have a dream to create a business, to start a business, right? And you're the dreamer, so it's a potential idea. So maybe you always want to own a big bakery, right? And so the only way for you to sort of start on that journey of manifestation, because you don't have the money to do it or any of the resources accumulate, you just have an idea. But you have to start in your kitchen, and you have to begin making goods out of your kitchen and create labeling yourself and create business cards yourself and all that stuff to even see if this is a good idea in the first place. But your ego is telling you, who the fuck would buy cookies or cupcakes or whatever from me? Like, I'm starting my kitchen, this is raggedy as hell. Like, in order to really start a business, you need a budget. In order to really start a business, you need a location, a space. In order to really start a business, right, you're talking yourself out of it because you feel like there's something imaginary that you wish you could have, that you want, but you're not actually taking the practical steps to deal with what's in front of you. On this card, it pictures these 3 cups, perfectly real and good, and with water in them, they're full in front of her, yet she's crying over this one cup over here that's not even fucking real. It's a figment of her imagination. It's something that she has created as the standard, or something that she has created as this idea of what it is that she cannot obtain within herself right now. But the truth is, everybody starts somewhere. I even feel as though, like, in your personal, just like I said, your field, your force field, you're talking yourself down. You're talking yourself out of happiness. You're talking yourself out of mental clarity. You're painting yourself into a corner somehow with some sort of idealism or some sort of, like, conditioning, something you're telling yourself over and over, I can't do this, I can't do that. Or maybe even you have avenues that you could travel, but you're like, I could go this way, but a negative. I could go that way, but, and then there's another negative. I could go this way, but I don't really want to do that. So at the end of the day, I'm just going to stay where I am. It's fear. It's fear. This thing here, you creating this major thing at this pie in the sky. I just slapped myself, but you're creating this pie in the sky because for whatever reason, anything is better than actually being, like I said, an amateur and starting from the ground. You'd rather even just talk yourself out of it at some time. But the thing about it is you ain't got time to sit and wallow and shit like that. Like right now, there's a lot of planets retrograde. Mercury did go direct, but there's so many, like 4 or 5 other planets, asteroids, Chiron, that bitch retrograde. There's a lot of shit happening right now. But the thing about it is, you're getting this idea. It's gonna come to you quickly because you have this 8 of Swords or 8 of Wands. So there's a creative idea that you're very passionate about. It's almost divine the way that it came to you, the You might have watched a movie. You might have heard a quote, read a book, or listened to some music or some shit like that. Had a deep conversation with somebody, contemplated, meditated, and then it just sort of came to you. And it's almost too good to be true. These two cards together can be a slippery slope. I'm not gonna lie. You could potentially have an idea that comes about, and then it's like, you were foolish about this. You went too quickly. You tried to do things too fast. You didn't create a solid foundation for yourself. You weren't actually capable of doing this. You just thought it was going to be a get-rich-quick scheme. This gives me get-rich-quick. You're thinking you're going to get rich quick, right? Because you're the amateur. You don't know anything. You're trusting other people and all this stuff. But with this situation and this reading, I'm not getting that. You got justice. So this is something that is coming to you because it's divinely yours. It was always meant to be yours. It's not anything that you have to question. I don't feel as though you need to necessarily count a lot of other people in. Now, it does take people to make your dreams come true. I'm not saying you can do all of this all on your own 100% solo. But the thing about it is the strength is coming from you. You are the engine. And like I said, power. This number is the 8 arcana. It's the major arcana. All the major arcana have numbers. Strength is 1 and it has 11. 8 represents power, understanding of money, understanding of how to shift power dynamics and how to like make shit happen in the world, how to make shit real. And like I said, it's also the card of justice to me is a karmic card. It says fair and just decisions. Do what you know is right. Stand up for your beliefs. This is talking about doing what you know is right because at the end of the day, that gavel is going to come down and you're either going to be on the right side or you're going to get your ass whacked. Like it just is what it is. So with this, I feel this is more so the energy that's coming into your situation to create balance for you. So this idea coming in very quickly, I feel is something that the universe might be throwing in your court to sort of strike that balance between yourself. But it's up to you to recognize the validity of it, the fact that it actually is a viable idea, and to not talk yourself out of beginning. I'm not promising you that this whole thing is just going to like poof and create itself, but the idea comes with it. You also have, did I talk about the 8 of Air? I don't know. I did this reading before. I'm just going to talk about it again. So the 8 of Air talks about trapping yourself mentally, painting yourself into a corner. It's swords, swords, air. They are about mentality, where your mental is, the space that you allow yourself to be in, you know what I'm saying, within your own mind, and the things you tell yourself, the truth about the situation as opposed to what you're telling yourself. This card indicates that, like, somebody's actually lying to themselves about their predicament out of fear. So as opposed to being honest with yourself maybe about some of the reasons that you might be down or low or depressed, you just keep telling yourself, like, more bad shit that only puts you deeper into the depression. As opposed to taking action and doing something that will lift that fog from you. Like, I don't know if I said this, but talking to friends, going out, having fun, letting loose, and just positive affirmations, just realizing that the mental cross that you're bearing is not your own. Let go of that shit. It says an illusion of being trapped, a lack of self-confidence, afraid to take action. So the fear, the stagnancy comes from you being afraid to actually move out of it because that means that maybe that space wouldn't be as comfortable because it's not as familiar to you. So as opposed to actually doing it, you just tell yourself, oh, well, I'm better off where I am. And I'm going to tell you now all the reasons why you should not believe that bullshit. So whatever that idea is, that is this 8 of fire that's coming to you very quickly, is actually a stable idea. It's not something that you need to just let go in one ear and out the other. I always talk about, like, writing down your ideas, actually putting them on paper, pen to pad, not just in your phone, like, really write it down so it seeps back into your subconscious and it becomes something that can fertilize, like, it becomes a seed in your mind. But I say all that to say, 4 of fire, or the 4 of wands, is all about that passionate inspiration or idea that you acquired, or that you've been given, or you just came about, actually helping foster foundations in your life, helping you actually create lay the brickwork that's going to allow your ideas to flourish. It says contentment, peace, and abundance, a happy home life, the successful completion of a project. So the project part is the most important thing. It's like, you know, we all have these ideas, we all write down our ideas and everything, but if you don't execute, if you don't actually create somewhere stable idea to grow, like I said, plant that seed in your mind for your idea to grow. That's also a physical thing that needs to be done. You actually doing the physical work and executing those plans to create a space for this idea because it's actually a good idea, bro. It's like a really good idea that you need to move forward with, and it's going to bring you a lot of abundance. And the more that you move forward with this idea, you put one step in front of the other because you're not going to see the whole staircase. You put one step in front of the other, and you start to see this idea sort of crystallize in front of you. And it's beautiful. It really is. Like, it's going to amaze a lot of people because the idea, like I said, just sort of comes out of nowhere. I'm not saying that the road to manifesting it is going to be quick, but what I'm saying is you're very, very capable, and that idea has come to you as more so of a gift, maybe even to help pull you out of this sort of this self-conscious, insecure, depressed state that you might find yourself in. Even if you're not showing that to other people, like outwardly, you may be feeling those feelings of like, what am I doing with my life? Like, I just don't know where to go. I don't know where to move. If only I had done A, B, or C this many years ago, I might be here. Or if only I had a partner that was able to do A, B, or C for me. Or if only I had a mentor who could point me in the direction of where to find this information that I need for myself. No, fuck all the if only. Like, you are the bulldozer. You are the engine. Like I told you, I know this because you have the Queen of Fire. The Queen of Fire talks about an internal knowing, right? This is the Queen, so it's about, women aren't just feelings and emotions. We're all wholly human, but the feminine energy is more of an internal. It's the energy of darkness, right? It's the energy of what's inside. Male energy is more external. It's more directing and just the light is what you can see. Feminine is what you can't see. It's where all things originate, right? So why did I say that word like that? Originate. Anyway. So this card is talking about you actually having the great ideas, you actually having the capability to be able to overcome and jump over the hurdles, whatever the hurdles may be, because at this point you don't even know what the road looks like that you're going to be traveling, but anything worth having is worth working hard for. So you know there's going to be something that you need to overcome in order to get to the end of the road, you see what I'm saying? And a lot of people talk themselves out of starting because they're afraid they won't be able to handle the, unforeseen circumstances that come along with life. Just living regular ass life is hard enough. So if doing all this extracurricular shit, I don't know if I got it, but you have it. You do. You have to have the faith, that's the blind faith. Not blind faith. Do your research on shit, but you know what I'm saying? It don't seem a little scary, but you got this. This is a confident, warm, intelligent, and very graceful woman. So regardless of what happens, she handles it with grace. Regardless of what happens, she puts one foot in front of the other so she can prove to herself her capabilities, her worth, her value. And with that, after you accomplish so much, you become confident in yourself because you've proven yourself to yourself. You feel me? It says, stretch your wings and fly. Don't underestimate yourself. Assert your independence and creativity. Assert. Taurus has never had an issue being assertive in any way, shape, or form. So I need you to pull that out of yourself and just move one step in front of the other. You also have the Ace of Air, which talks about having a lot of mental clarity, understanding. So this idea that you have, this idea that you've acquired is actually something that's pretty well thought out. It might come to you quickly, but it develops itself very quickly as well, but it's thorough. It's not something that she's just doing off of a whim. It's something that might come to her and she's like, wow, this is actually, but then actually sits down to mull over the facts, to do the fact checking and whatever the budget and whatever, whatever the things are that she needs to do to kind of pull the idea together and make it clean, make it crisp. That happens almost expertly. It's something that it just feels right. You have the answers. You understand. You can wrap your mind around it. You know what I'm saying? Enough to the point where you feel comfortable. And Taurus is the type of sign, you guys are the sign that doesn't like to do things unless you're absolutely, positively sure. You will fact check something not twice, but 3 times because you just have a fear of being wrong. You're a fixed sign, so you like to know what you're getting yourself into before you enter in. And the faith thing is not necessarily, I don't want to say it's not your strong suit, but I will say this, you would be better off betting on yourself than betting on somebody else to do that thing because you know you are a bulldozer. You know your own tenacity. You know your own, ability to focus and to get things done. And how you get them done is a very organized, sort of tactical way, in in a strategic type of way, you wouldn't have it any other way. And I need you to understand that you're prepared. You also have the strength card. And this card talks about inner strength. So you need to tame whatever this beast is, that this insecurity thing that's going on right now, this thing where you're like in your house, not really talking to everybody. You might be talking to a select few people, but you just don't have the energy right now because you just feel drained and depleted. You don't see it for yourself really. But once that insight comes and you're able to like find a little nugget of happiness, a little idea that gives you that optimistic feeling back in your spirit, I want you to follow it and know that you have the strength to really see it through from the beginning to the end. All right, Taurus, if you guys would like a personal reading with me, you absolutely can obtain one of those by emailing me at nellforhighvibe@gmail.com. I do tarot, personal tarot readings, love readings, all that type of stuff. You can, inquire about it, and I'll talk to you about it. We can get you paid up and scheduled, as well as astrological readings. I do still offer chart readings for you guys if you're interested in those. Please be sure to follow me on all my social media or whatever social media you're active on. I have Twitter, Instagram. What are the social media? Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr. I'm even on as Nell Nicole, NELLENICHOLE. And then Snapchat is in Nicole Mars. I'm trying to get more active on Snap, so come on there and say hello. Check out my website, nellnicole.com, where you can see everything that's going on with me musically. It's going to be due for an update pretty